For every new business starting off, you need a business name that is soothing to the ear and also grabs attention. Coming up with a business name is quite a daunting task for business owners and startups. In this video, I'm going to share with you strategies for coming up with a business name. Let's jump right into it. Now, the first question you want to ask yourself when creating a business name is, does it make sense to the outside world? In my line as a brand strategist, I've come across individuals who come up with some amazing names, but these names only make sense to them. Even I, as a strategist, struggle to understand what they're trying to portray. So in my line, I normally advise business owners that yes, you should come up with a good business name, but that business name isn't really for you, it's rather for the outside world. So it makes sense to you, but it might sound quite the opposite to the audience that you're presenting it to. So always ask yourself that the business name you're coming up with, does it make sense to the outside world rather than for you? So once you are done, just brainstorm it around a couple of friends, ask them what they think without explaining the name to them. Just share to them and ask them what do they think, what's their concept of understanding about the name that you sent to them, or ask them how they understand the name you sent to them. Then based on the interactions or the reactions and responses from them, it could tell you or give you a fair idea how the customers that are going to present in that business to is going to understand the name as well. I'll be sharing a new video where I explain the types of business names and which one to go in for and which of them would fit into the industry you're going into. So do check it out when it comes out. The next question you want to ask yourself in brand naming is it a good name for the industry that you are in? You can't be in a business industry and use, let's say, a food name as your business name. Even though you might try to create that creativity to make sparkles around your name, but it might not work, and most times it doesn't work as well. So I would advise you going for a name that doesn't fit into the industry you're in. So do well to come up with a name that relates to the kind of industry you're in, or present it in a way that fits the industry you're in. So when you take the likes of the Apple and Co, they don't really sound like an industry name, but they have created it in a way that has related to the industry that they are in, which sometimes it takes time to develop to that stage. Sometimes it can pick up quickly, sometimes it can delay as well. So do well to come up with a name that relates to the industry that you're in, so it makes it easier to familiarize with you. Another question you want to ask yourself when coming up with names is it future proof? A lot of businesses start off with a single idea, then after a couple of years down the line, they start growing and the business starts expanding and they bring in several services or different products. Now, you don't want to name your business to or limited to a particular product or a single service. Then tomorrow you add in additional services that would help your business grow or help your business improve, and end up with a name that is limiting you from expanding your business. So most times when you come up with business names, do well to make sure it's future proof, that tomorrow when you bring in a new product or a new service into that company, the name can accommodate. Or you don't want to sell only shoes and the next day you start selling clothing. So if you sell, let's say you name your business Ike Shoes is limited to only shoes. If you start selling clothing over there, you might end up losing all your clothing customers because they'll end up thinking you are only into shoes. So do well to choose a name that goes beyond the industry that you are in or the service that you are providing, so that it can be future proof when you want to expand the services that you offer. One of the vital things I also advise is to make sure the name is easily spellable. Sometimes business owners come up with creative names that it doesn't really work when you show it to someone, you mention it to someone, that the person now has to suffer putting the name together or struggling and juggling with the words to come up with the business name. So do well that your business name is always easily searchable and easily rememberable, so that anytime at all you mention it, just at a go, the person can be able to grab it and remember it and easily spell it out when they need to find you online or find you somewhere. By the way, if you're enjoying this content, do well to subscribe. I'm Edwin. On this channel, I share content on business, branding, productivity, and growth mindset to help you grow and help your business expand as well. The next thing you want to be focusing on in relation to the previous point is the name easy to remember. You don't want to choose a name that you yourself might be okay with it and might be able to remember it all the time. But you should think of your customers as well. Would they be able to remember your name easily? Is it something that they can easily catch in mind and easily remember? Or is it going to be a name that as to when they need it, they are going to suffer? No, you don't want that for your business. So do well to come up with a name that they can easily remember and easily spell out as well anytime they need to find you. Now, after doing all the various things I've mentioned above, the next critical things I would normally recommend to any business owner starting off is that First of all, check and see if the domain for the business name you are searching for is available. So you can check on Bluehost, just go on bluehost.com and then put in the business name that you've come up with and then put .com over there and see if it's available. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Bluehost. It's a personal preference that I'm recommending to you. So do well to check on Bluehost to see if the business name you're coming up with is available over there. The next thing you want to do is to go on Google and then check and see how crowded that name is. So no matter the business name you come up with, go on Google, type it in the search box and then enter and see how crowded it is. Crowded here means when you search the name over there, how many people come up with the same name or a similar name. If it's too crowded that you can't seem to find a way around it, I wouldn't recommend you going for that name. I would rather advise you go back to the drawing board and come up with something unique that your customers can easily recognize you with and easily remember you with and also easily find you with when they come online, because you don't want to end up in the mud of other businesses where they are ranking on top of you. You end up not being seen by anyone. So do well to come up with a name that is less crowded, that would give you a much more search engine advantage to show up in front of customers when they need you. And the last thing you want to check is on social media. When you're done with all this, do well to go on social media, the various platforms, put in the name over there and see if it's available. Now there's a trick over here I normally like to share. If you go sometimes, and in fact most times, I don't know how it happens, but most times some people can pick up a name and then just put it over there without using it. What I normally recommend is to post more content and then repeat the hashtag of the business name in every content that you post. So over time you end up being on top of the other person who's using your original business name, if it so happens that way. But if not, and you search and it's good, then just roll with it to help your business establish. Well, that's it for this video. I hope it was insightful and you learned something new. Do apply the various strategies I've given in this video to help you come up with a better business name. Also, do want to check out my next video where I'll be sharing the type of business name. There are various types of business name. I'll be breaking it down into various segments so you can understand the type of business name and which one to apply to your business. Well, see you in the next one. Cheers.